That is coming. Sometimes it doesn't come. Thank you. Hello, friends. Uh, Last time we went through the introduction to health, or we can say health and disease. That was basically the history of medicine. We had a little bit of a few slides on history of medicine and how we were how disease and health was defined in the past. Today also we will consider a little bit about history, and we will also then go into the concepts of disease and health. Well, let me again introduce myself. I am Brigadier Vaz, or also known as Dr. Vaz. I am the professor and head of department of community medicine. I will be with you for the next 3 years. Everybody else generally is there with you for a year, but we will be there with you for 3 years because basically everything in medicine is about the community. And so we have to teach you how treatment is done in the community. Today we will be talking about the concepts of disease and health. So when we talk about the history, we talked last time regarding how the Indian Ayurveda system or the was there, the Greeks who had the Unani system, and other primitive other cultures had various other modes of um, giving treatment. Earlier it was basically whenever you're looking at disease, it's basically a disturbance in the body equilibrium. And as medicine developed in the Middle Ages, we had a lot of changes which took place. Every time there has been a problem in society, medicine has developed. We can look at whether it was in the early days, the shifting from the early days to the Crusade days, from the Crusade days to the Middle Ages, from the Middle Ages to the Industrial Revolution, from the Industrial Revolution to the various world wars, and from the world wars to the current problem of COVID. Each time medicine has gained. Medicine has gained from in knowledge with each of these problems which society has put forward. So, what is health? Health is a fundamental human right and a worldwide social goal. It is essential to the satisfaction of basic human needs and to an improved quality of life. Basically, one must remember that whenever a person is healthy, he can enjoy his full freedom in life, enjoy his life. So, is it only the physical element? Is it only the mental element? Or is it that he should enjoy life otherwise? These are all concepts we'll just discuss. Basically, the WHO had come up with this goal of health for all by 2000. 2000 is gone, 20 years ago. But still, we have never been able to attain that goal of health for all. We keep on pushing that goal, the date of that goal further and further. But are we going to achieve that goal where we will be able to give health for the complete population of the world? Maybe not. Maybe it can it be done through a socialistic society where you have everybody sharing their riches, or can it be done through a capitalistic society where you have insurance companies which give provide for money for providing health, or can it be done with a mix of these two? No one has the answers. No one has the answers. There is no society which has been able to provide a proper health for all. And this euphemistic or goal which we have, we must achieve it as days go by. So let us consider the various concepts of health. We can have various concepts of health. One is a biomedical concept. The biological environment and the medical environment being combined into a biomedical concept. Or it is the ecology, things around you which are causing the problems, ecology. Or is it the psychosocial, that means that you have the psychological aspects which cause problems. Otherwise, you have a holistic concept. Let me see if I've got slides on that. No, I don't have. So let me just explain to you. The biomedical concept of health deals with the fact that everything in health depends on various things which are in your body. That is, if your enzymes create problem, you may get diabetes. If you have problems with a particular system of your body, your kidneys are a problem, that's why you get a particular disease. You have a problem with your eyes and with your retina, so you have problems with your eyes. Everything is dependent only on the body, the biomedical concept. The other aspect, which is when we talk about ecological concept, it says that yes, we agree that the body has a role, but it is not only the body. Body is controlled by what is around, the environment around. The environment is most important. I'll give you an example. If your parents are diabetic, both your parents are diabetic, there is more than there's about a 40% chance that you will become a diabetic. That is the biomedical concept, that you will become a diabetic. But if I take the proper precaution, if I change my environment, if I provide an environment where I do a good amount of exercise, eat good food, or not the junk which we normally eat, and we land up and we control our diet, we can possibly prevent or delay this onset of diabetes. This is what is the ecology or the environmental concept which is there. The other concept which is there is, yes, we agree with these things, but remember that the psychology of an individual also plays a part. Very much so. If you are stressed, if you go through a stressful environment, you will know if a diabetic, for example, goes through a stressful environment, his sugars go up. If a person is into more stress, his chances of getting hypertension, his chances of getting diabetes is much more. If a person is under stress, he can go to depression, he can go to manic depressive psychosis, he can go to various other problems. These all affect the health of an individual. Psychology or psychosocial aspects have a huge bearing on health. Some diseases like psoriasis get aggravated extremely by just stress. There are so many diseases which get aggravated by the psychosocial environment. The psychosocial concept is also very, very important whenever you consider health. Then, the holistic concept. Yes, we agree with biomedical, we agree with ecological, we agree with psychosocial. All these together would form the correct concept to describe what is affecting the body and producing the disease. So it is a holistic concept, a concept by which all these aspects which you are getting, all these various biomedical concepts, the environmental, the ecology, the psychological profile, the social environment which is there, everything contributes towards disease. So when we learned about when we know about the concepts of which are causing the problems and disease. So what can we say? When is a person healthy? Is the person healthy if he's physically healthy only? Not necessarily. We have to look at his mental outlook also. So whether his mental outlook is good, he may be physically and mentally fine, but if he is not socially fine, if he is not able to interact with others, he becomes secluded. He will not have a healthy environment, or he will not be healthy per se. So, the definition of health, and this you will have to mug up and keep in with you, that is, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Absence of disease or infirmity does not mean that person is healthy. He should be happy. He should be merging with the environment. He should be socially adaptable. Then only we can say that the person is healthy. Now, you see, when we talk about social, we also add on, actually, there are people who add on so many other dimensions, which we'll talk about a little later. Now that they've expanded it to social and economically productive life, you should be able to have a social and economically productive life. The essential essence of the definition is there, which I've highlighted in red, and these additional ones keep coming up. Now, please do remember that whenever we talk of the philosophy of health, it is basically a fundamental human right that the person should be healthy. Whether it is a fundamental right as per the constitution, we will not talk about that. But basically every individual requires to be healthy. Since hence it is a fundamental human right across the world. We are not talking about any country. Across the world, it's a fundamental human right to be healthy. And when we talk of development, people keep on saying there are roads, there are buildings, there is various things. But if you're not healthy yourself, is that really development? What the hell? What is the reason for why do we need development? We need development to enjoy all these things. We require a healthy body. So any person whose health has to become an integral part of development. And whenever one is healthy and one has various development projects on, one will be able to enjoy the essence of a productive life, who will be able to do work or enjoy, go around. That is the essence of a productive life. This cannot be done with only the health sector. If you want to be healthy, you must have good water. For providing the water, you require the Department of Water Supply or the Hyderabad Water Supply and Sanitation Department to function well. So for that, there is this sector, water sector, which has to provide. You want to remain a healthy and happy person, you require light. So you require the electricity department to provide light. You require to cook your food. You require gas to be provided. You require that vegetables are available in the market. You require good and healthy vegetables, so you require pesticides. You require or pesticides or various other things which are there. You require buildings to be made, so you require the construction industry. You require, you can keep going on and on. So one must remember that health cannot be taken in isolation. Health, for a health person to be healthy, it is a proper intersectoral approach. And if you want that a person is healthy, it is basically his quality of life. We now moving out from just being healthy to quality of life. One always look at what is the quality of life. Well, when you are possibly you buy a house or you want to settle down, or for example, when you're in your home, what is the quality of your life? Today, with COVID being present, what is the quality of your life? Or what was it when in the lockdown? The quality of life was not good during the lockdown. because you're not permitted to go out. There were restrictions. So the central concept to health has always been what is the quality of life. We will please remember these words of quality of life. We will be talking about it in detail in subsequent classes, maybe end of this year or maybe next year for that matter. So it involves the responsibility of all, whether it is the individual, whether it is the doctor, whether it is the nurse, whether it is the various sectors which are involved. It's a responsibility at all at various levels, various levels. And if you keep a person healthy, he is likely to be more productive. And if he is more productive, that will be the social goal of the government as such. It's a social investment, one that each government should invest on health so that people can live a productive life and it will be a social goal. So, when we talked about in the definition, we talked about physical, mental, and social well being. We talked about only three. But when you start looking at the dimensions of it, as we were discussing earlier, there are so many dimensions. Physically, if I'm physically healthy, I can go for a run, I can go for a walk, I can do work, I can drive a car, I can drive a scooter, I can see, I can look. It's all physical. Mental is the person being mentally sound, being happy, being social, and the social dimension of health is the interaction between people, the going around and meeting people and doing things good for society. That's the social dimension. Spiritual health. Today, spiritual health has taken had gone into the background, but it's coming back again. We have a lot of people who are talking that a person can feel healthy if he has. We talk about yoga. We talk about meditation. Yoga is not really spiritual; it's physical. Physical. That's the physical dimension of keeping healthy, and you have the other spiritual dimension which is there, which is meditation, etc., is a spiritual dimension. What is prayer? I mean, maybe it's not written in your books, but what is prayer? Prayer is talking to an external force who is supposed to be responsible for the well-being of the world. Right? That's one thing, which one way of defining prayer. But when you pray, and when you pray with your whole mind, you leave out other things and concentrate on that God or that particular feature which you think is controlling the world. At that time, one is actually doing meditation. Prayer is meditation in a different form, and spiritual that has a dimension of health, because whenever you come to a problem, if you can put that problem onto somebody else's shoulder, your stress levels will decrease. And what do? You take the your problems and put it onto a particular god, and you say, "Oh, listen, God A B C D. I'll give you 4 coconuts, and you please sort out my bargaining." A lot of bargaining goes on in spiritual level. That's okay. We will not talk about that. Whenever we have an interactive session or whenever we talk about in the classroom, I have got a lot of things to say about the spiritual level. It's very good. Please remember, I am not criticizing the religious aspect. I'm saying it's very good, but yes, I am very much against the bargaining element with God. You have a dialogue with God. Listen, I want, I would like to. How about getting those 2 questions in my examination paper? If you get those questions in the examination paper, I will do so and so. Oh, is it? You're bargaining with that spiritual power. Okay, very nice. And suppose he says, no, 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 I don't want four coconuts, I want 20 coconuts. How does he say it to you? The bargaining is only one way, it's not, not two-way bargaining. So, we'll talk about that. Sometimes we can have a good dialogue on that. Yeah. So, the spiritual element has a bearing on our emotional quotient. We are emotional, we are humans are emotional a lot, so we have the spiritual element will have this bearing on the emotional as well as your own otherwise your emotional problems which are there require promotes you've got stable emotional quotient, it will be you will be healthy. Or vocational, if you don't have a job today, everything is about whether it is vocational or whether you call it financial. You have to be financially sound to survive in this world. So if you have a good vocation, or when I say good vocation, that's also another very a topic which I love to speak about. See, what is a good vocation? You came into medicine. Why did you come into medicine? There are different reasons why you came into medicine. There are some of you who came into medicine because you are good students. You were very good students and you got the choice. You said, okay, 10th standard, good student, you must do 12th with biology. And why? Because all the rest of the people are doing it. Bhed chal. I call it bhed chal. Everybody going to that particular bhed chal. But how many of you have come to medicine as a vocation because I love it? And I'll tell you one thing. Those of you who have come to medicine with a feeling that they enjoy it will themselves be happy in life, will remain physically and mentally and socially healthy in life. The rest of you who are being pushed into it, who say, yes, my father is investing so much, I will not ask you how much he is investing as far as putting you in this medical college is concerned, but my father is investing so much, I have to earn so much, is under a stress already when he has to pass, and after that um, he has to get the return on investment. The return on investment has to come, so one is already in the vocation as is the wrong vocation. That's why I am very happy with the new concepts which are coming in, where you have a 12th standard student who will be able to take maths with history. It's then abroad. Very nice concept. You can take what subjects you want. You must always do what you want. My son was doing very well in life, and then suddenly he decided. He says, "Okay, I'm earning hell of a lot, but I'm not very happy." So he wanted to start off on his own, and he was passionate about coffee. He started a e-marketplace on coffee, and he's happy. May not be earning as much, but he's happy. And I supported him right through. Because if you're not happy with your vocation, you will never be healthy. Give you another example. My daughter did her complete studies in law. Then one day she was an excellent, she was a corporate lawyer for ICICI, doing very well. Suddenly she says, no, I want to go abroad, I want to do MBA in California. Imagine a government servant sending his daughter to the US for doing MBA. He has to empty all his coffers, complete, empty pockets. But yes, I sent her there. She's happy because she's doing what she wanted to do. So vocational health is vocation also has a real dimension to it. There are various other non dimensions which you can pick up. You can say that if I'm the aspect of looking after the family, that is another aspect which is there. That will give me help. That will give me more. It'll give me a better, healthy life. Or, for that matter, you can say that playing football gives me a better, healthy life. There can be various dimensions. Okay. Well, whenever we talk about the WHO has laid down that when you talk about the standard of living, we must consider income and occupation. We will talk about these things in detail when you're presenting cases, and these cases which you present, we call them the medico-social presentations. That will start off from second year end, where you will be given cases and you will not be presenting in the medical portion also, as well as the social element also, because the social element has a bearing on health. So in that, we have to consider what is the standard of living of an individual, and for that, you see, what we consider is the income and occupation of an individual. Without a good income, he can have problems not be able to maintain good health. The occupation, a lot of occupations have a problem on health. We've got a separate chapter on occupational health. We'll talk about it sometime. Standard of housing. If the housing is not good, we'll talk about housing in detail sometime. Sanitation. If the sanitation around is not good, or if the house is not good, you can land up with a number of diseases. We will talk in sanitation is a separate chapter in itself, which we'll talk about. Nutrition. You've been learning about nutrition from the 8th standard onwards, and you know that nutrition, without good nutrition, a person can land up with various health problems. Level of provision of health. Level of provision of health in the sense, do you have primary health centers around? Do you have sub-centers? Do you have a community health center? Do you have a district hospital nearby? Or is there private health facilities nearby for provision of health? Or are there educational facilities nearby? Are there recreational facilities nearby? Very important. All these will be used when we describe the socio-economic status. So, the socio-economic status of an individual, we normally use what we call the Kuppuswamy scale for defining. We'll talk about Kuppuswamy scale in detail sometime later. So we define the socio-economic status of an individual based on various aspects: income, education, and per capita income, and so on. So this basically what will collectively it is an index of socio-economic the standard of living. So basic determinants of health which are there are the biological determinant which is there, the behavioral and socio-cultural determinants, the environment. We've all talked about these already, so I'll not go into further details. The socio-economic determinant, the healthcare which is provided, and also one of the very important determinants is gender. Some diseases are more common in males, some common diseases are more common in females. Example? Oh yeah, I can't get cervical cancer. Oh, I don't have a cervix. Yeah, yeah. But if you look at even other diseases, you have various diseases are like, for example, even let's take COVID. COVID is more common in males than in females. The reason? There are various factors which are involved, and we'll talk about how these things interaction of various factors. We'll talk about it in the same lecture, same series of lectures on concept of health. We'll be talking about it. So we'll talk about that in detail. So what is disease? We've got in your textbook part, it was mentioned disease is opposite of health. Any deviation from normal functioning or state of complete physical or mental well-being is disease. This is not a very good definition of disease. Not a very good definition of disease. So let's look at Webster's dictionary, which says a condition in which body health is impaired, an alteration interrupting the performance of vital functions. So basically, he's talking about only the body. The body, a condition in which the body health is impaired, an alteration interrupting the performance of vital functions. That's what the Webster dictionary says. Let's look, see what Oxford Dictionary says. The Oxford Dictionary says a condition of the body or organ of the body in which its function are disrupted or deranged. Basically, Webster and Oxford are talking about various parts of the body not functioning well. That is disease. Let us see what a medical dictionary. For you, all of you should get a Dolan's medical dictionary, which basically a medical dictionary. Dolan is the most common one which is used. So let's look at what is Dolan's. Is. Any deviation from or interruption of the normal structure or function of any part, organ, or system of the body that is manifested by a characteristic set of symptoms and signs whose etiology and pathology and prognosis may be known or unknown. So basically, what Dolan's what this definition says is if it can be a structural problem or a functional problem of any organ or system, and this can result in a set of symptoms which may occur. What's the difference between symptoms and signs? Symptoms is something which the patient says. Sign is what the doctor elicits. So, I am coughing. I have cough. So that is a symptom. When I put my stethoscope on the chest, I find crepitations. That is a sign. Okay? Okay. This should have come earlier. The ecological point of view and sociological point of view, which is there. Ecology is the maladjustment of the human organs into the environment. The sociological point of view is social phenomena due to cultural forces present in the society. So basically, two differences between ecology and sociology. So we were talking about the concept of disease. So a pathological condition of a part, organ, or system of an organism resulting from various causes, such as an infection, genetic defect, or environmental stress, and characterized by an identifiable group of signs or symptoms. So please remember the Dollars dictionary definition as well as this particular definition which I put here. The two Webster, Oxford, and Park I'm not too keen on. These are the two ones which are very important. So we must look at the ecological, sociological, and the medical point of view. So now, when you consider the social concept of disease, disease is a physiological or psychosocial dysfunction. There are three words here: disease, illness, sickness. Disease, illness, sickness. Please remember these words. They are different words. Disease is physiological or psychosocial dysfunction. Disease. Illness is a subjective state of the person. He says, I am ill. I am feeling unwell. It is a subjective state of the person who feels aware of not being well. This is illness. While a sickness is a state of social dysfunction. That means the sickness role is assumed by the individual. He says, I am not going for work because I am ill. So I am sick because I am ill. He remains at home because he is ill. That is sickness. It is a social dysfunction. Okay, this is a repetition. Okay, let's just touch upon again with the various concepts of causation of disease which we talked about earlier, historical views which are there. Earlier, people used to think that it is divine visitations which are there, and people there were various religious people or various other people who used to remove bhoot pret nikalna and various other things which were there which were going on. And Hippocrates came up with the humoral imbalance theory, and Fracastorius came up with the contagion theory. We'll talk about these things. Okay, this is one of the most important aspects of community medicine. Please remember, I will repeat again, this is one of the most important concepts of the theory of community medicine or epidemiology. You will require to remember this right through your life, especially so during the exams. You must remember that disease is caused basically due to three things: the agent, the host, and the environment, which we call as the epidemiological triad. The epidemiological triad is the agent, host, and environment. Now, when we consider the agent factors, what are the agent factors which can cause disease? In that, we can have various types of agent factors. We can have biological agents, where we talk about bacteria, viruses, protozoa, various other things which are there. Or these biological elements also depends on how. Why is it that one person gets a disease, the other doesn't? It depends on the infectivity of the organism, the pathogenicity of the organism, and the virulence of the organism. What are these words? Infectivity means how much will one person infect others? You've heard about R naught when you talk about COVID. We'll talk about R naught in detail later on, but just in passing, R naught means the number of people that one person can infect. So that is infectivity. Pathogenicity, the virus comes to me, but if it cannot invade my body, then nothing may take place. How much pathogenic is it? Can it create a disease or not? Can it create a disease or not? Virulence. How much disease can it create? How much disease? We'll talk about these in a little bit detail. When we talk about the causation of disease, we will talk about it in detail. The other agents also, like the nutrient agents like nutritional elements like proteins, carbohydrates, various other elements like whether it be zinc or manganese or magnesium or various other things, or we have vitamins or minerals, anything, any of these nutrients, they are very much responsible. Either an increase or a decrease can cause disease. Proteins itself, you're aware, protein energy malnutrition can result in kwashiorkor and marasmus. Physical agents like, for example, you can cut with a knife, you can cut, you can have cold injuries, you can have heat injuries, you can have various other problems which are there, you can meet with an accident, physical problems. Chemical agents can be from within the body, endogenous or exogenous. There can be chemicals which can fall on your body, can be consumed by you, various other things, or there can be chemicals in your food, various things. Mechanical agents, we already talked about some of them when we talked about the physical agents which are there. Mechanical agents, something is there's a moving part that can create problems. You can have various other, you can have various other occupational problems. Social agents, various interactions in society. You have a boss who doesn't treat you well. You can land up in stress and have a problem. You can have a neighbor who gives you problem. So those social elements are also very important. Okay, can we? It is. I think we can stop at this agent factors because there's a lot which will be there. We'll stop here for today. Tomorrow, next week, we will discuss about the agent, host, and environment in detail. We'll be talking about the biological agents, the host factors, the environmental factors, and the concepts of causation of disease. So, it will be an interesting lecture next time, more in detail about things. And the concept of causation of disease is a very important aspect which we have to consider. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next Saturday. Next Saturday, we'll see you again, and hope you have enjoyed this lecture. We will. You have any questions? Please find out my number. You can send me a message on my phone. Please do not send me a message on this. I generally do not look at this. So please find out my number. You can send me questions on my mobile phone. You're most welcome. I am always open to people asking questions, and we will try to answer all your questions. And you must please remember, these basic lectures are very, very important for understanding later concepts which are there. Thank you.